Hi everybody, thanks for joining me as we take a look at at a potential icing event that's going to happen tomorrow morning. That's Thursday morning, January 5th, and so this isn't going to be a hugely long duration event. This will be a quick thing that's going to affect the morning commute. It's not going to affect everybody in Southern Vermont. We're going to talk in a minute about who's going to be affected, why, and how. And also, it's not going to be the kind of thing that causes lots of icing or significant icing on trees or anything like that. This is just going to be a potential problem for glazing on the roads. But it is going to come at a potentially impactful time travel-wise tomorrow morning as people are trying to get off to school or to work. And so I'm just going to give you the details on it, and we're going to go from there. Okay, first thing, what's happening here, as you can see, we've got lots of moisture and clouds moving in our direction as we look at satellite imagery in our direction. But if you look really close up here, you can see this little line that's slowly descending south. That is colder air at the surface, which is being pushed by a high-pressure system that's kind of nosing its way into northern New England. That's colder air that's getting pushed underneath this warm air. And so even though we're going to start off as rain, thankfully, because we are going to get not a huge amount of rain, but about a sixth of an inch of rain probably out of the storm, starting basically right now, and rain will continue throughout the night. Eventually, that cold air, just as we're about to cut off precipitation, is going to nose its way in east of the Green Mountains and give us a chance, just cold enough to give us a chance for some icing to occur. And so we just have to be a little careful about it. It's one of these things you just have to be wary as you head out in the morning. So if we take a look at what radar shows us right now, you can kind of see here's a bit of a depiction of that front that's kind of headed in our direction. And then we've got all this moisture, and we've got this kind of stalled out warm front that's sort of trying to nose its way north. And we've got low pressure bumping into high pressure, and we've got warm air bumping into high. Warm air rides up over the colder air, and the colder air does sometimes seep down the valleys. Now, the reason that we're going to be saved east of the greens. Well, before we get to that, here's your temperature. So you can see we do have enough cold air that if we seep some of these, we're not going to really fall much below freezing, but if we seep some of these around freezing temperatures from the St. Lawrence River Valley down the valleys overnight tonight, that would give us a chance for that icing. So what is happening here is that cold air kind of hits a brick, though. It wants to seep. It's cold. It's dense. It has a hard time getting over geographic barriers like the Green Mountains. Now, because the wind is a little bit and the depth of the cold air is a little bit thicker east of us, the White Mountains won't really get in the way of it, but it's going to try to ride down kind of the east side of the Appalachians, down the southern side, and then try to sink in to some of these valley locations, particularly the Connecticut River Valley and the river valleys coming up out of the Connecticut River, and that's where I think we could see those potential problems. So we've got this kind of northeast and easterly flow that's going to drive some of that colder air down in as we head towards, this is at like 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, what I think might be happening out there. The precipitation is also just about coming to an end now. So again, this is going to be less than a tenth of an inch of ice on any surfaces. But if you know anything about driving, probably they will likely pre-treat the roads tomorrow with a winter weather advisory. So main roads should be okay because with a little salt they'll be fine. Those side roads, though, driveways, steps, that kind of thing, those could all be icy, and you got to still be careful, on any of those on the main roads. Even if you never know, you come across a spot that's slightly colder and the salt hasn't quite worked on it yet, or something like that. You just got to be cautious because this is the kind of weather where it can seem like it's fine and just wet, and then all of a sudden you hit an icy patch and you have no control at all. So you're just going to want to have to drive with lots of extra caution tomorrow morning. Wrong direction. Storm details. Rain begins basically now, anytime between 4 and 6 p.m. in earnest. Precipitation begins to change to freezing rain between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. tomorrow east of the greens. Precipitation changes to precipitation comes to an end between about 7 and 9 a.m. tomorrow. Total precipitation about a third to about 2/3 of an inch of rain, somewhere in that range. Total ice accumulation, very little, less than a tenth, but enough to potentially make it slippery. If you live from the peaks of the greens west, you can ignore this forecast. You're going to get some rain, and you don't have to worry about anything for the time being. In terms of areas of most concern, Connecticut River Valley, other river valleys east of the Green. So if you're heading up the Black River Valley, the Williams River Valley, towards Chester, towards Ludlow, places like that, Cavendish. Saxons River, if you're heading up the Saxons River Valley, Rockingham up the Williams River Valley towards Chester, and then the West River Valley, probably not as far inland as I am in Londonderry, but certainly as you head towards the southern and eastern 2/3 or so of the river valley up to a place like even Newfane, maybe Jamaica even, and it wouldn't be shocking in Londonderry, but I think most of these issues will be east of a place like where I am, south and east of me. Locations below 1,000 feet, so if you're above 1,000 feet, you're probably okay with this storm. Unpaved surfaces, that's what we're talking about. Back roads, basically, because other roads should be salted, and it probably will keep you okay. The steps heading out your doorway tomorrow morning, be careful. You don't want to take a fall doing that. That can be a bad thing. And driveways, your driveway and things like that, if it's not, doesn't have salt put down on it, just be cautious, be prepared. It could be very slippery as you head out. So just be cautious about that kind of thing. Not a huge deal, but I did want to give you a quick update. I will be back on Friday with a look at your weekend forecast. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons because they do help support what I do here at the West River Weather Guy. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel before, I would encourage you to do so because it means you won't miss videos like this, especially when I post them in the middle of the week, not on normal times. All right, like I said, I'll be back on Friday.